So, who is this Joshua Bonehill that we've been hearing so much about lately from the British side of what you could call white nationalism? I decided to make this video, and I will try to make it as short as possible, to show those of you out there that might be supporting this Liberate Stamford event that maybe this is not exactly what it's all cracked up to be. We look into what the Jews are doing, we look into what our governments are doing, but it seems like many of us rarely actually look into who our so-called leaders are, or our self-proclaimed leaders, I would say. I'll read an article here. Yeovil internet troll Joshua Bonehill-Paine due in court tomorrow. It says here that the 21-year-old faces 6 counts of conveying false information in which he is alleged to have accused Margaret Chapman of child abuse, Joseph Carlise and Richard Day of being convicted pedophiles, and Ivan Moncton of being a pedophile and selling drugs to children. He also faces a further count of harassment without violence relating to online comments he made about Sarah Rucroft, accusing her of child abuse. It says that he pleaded guilty to all 7 charges at a previous hearing on October 28th. Now, fast forward to today. This was posted February 10th, which is today. Ex-public school boy who calls himself a rising star of the right-wing community avoids jail despite branding innocent people as pedophiles in series of online rants. It goes on to talk about his history and a few different things, but it says he was found guilty of 6 counts of malicious communication and handed a 3-month prison sentence, suspended for 18 months when he appeared at the Yeovil Magistrates Court on Monday. He reportedly spent the morning smirking in the dock and speaking outside the court, said he had absolutely no remorse for the victims whatsoever. Now, he is saying that this quote here, where it says, "I noticed this chap bullying particularly women with special needs and children," Bonehill is threatening to sue the BBC and other outlets that are using this quote, saying that he has never bullied women or people with special needs or children. That's kind of the special needs thing. I guess you could say he's never bullied anybody with special needs, but he's constantly accused people of being autistic, which I find very funny considering his behavior. This man here was one that he accused of being a pedophile, claims that he lost his business due to this. So it says here down at the bottom, sentenced Bonehill to a 12-month community order, including 100 hours of unpaid work and supervision by the probation office after admitting burglary and assault. He has quite the history, you see. And what I think's funny is that this guy here admitted that he had done what he had done. 6 counts of malicious communication. Now, I want to parallel this with the story of Garen Helm, in which I have heard that Garen Helm is planning to be in this Liberate Stamford event as well. Now, Garen Helm, what was Garen jailed for? Garen was jailed for sending a tweet. It says Garen Helm, 21, from Litherland, north of Liverpool, tweeted a picture of the MP with a Holocaust yellow star superimposed on her forehead with the hashtag Hitler was right. The tweet, which referred to Berger as a communist Jewess, read, "You can always trust a Jew to show their true colors eventually." It goes on to say blah blah blah. But anyway, he was sentenced to 4 weeks in jail. He spent 2 weeks in jail and had to pay this woman a €80 or £80 fine. It's kind of funny that he has to, pay the Jew for saying something bad about her. I think it's slightly humorous, but it's not funny considering the fact that he didn't necessarily say anything that was incorrect. He called her a Jewess. He voiced his opinion saying Hitler was right. Called her a communist as well, but I would say that she probably wouldn't publicly denounce communism any day of the week. So I don't see what the big problem was with that. Now, how come Guerin spends 2 weeks in jail and Bonehill admits to accusing people falsely of being pedophiles, selling drugs to children and what have you, and he gets off with a slap on the wrist. He has to work. God forbid this guy has to work. He has to spend some time working for free. I guess it's similar to community service in the U.S. But I find it very interesting considering he also, when he was 18, broke into a police station and got the same slap on the wrist. Can you believe that? Breaks into a police station, no jail time, but Guerin Helm makes a tweet and spends 2 weeks in jail, sentenced to 4, and has to pay a fine. I believe Bonehill had to pay a fine for his most recent encounter, but not sure what the number was on that. Now, you can read this story anywhere on the internet. Drunk Tory hopeful 18 broke into police station to steal uniform after he was thrown out of a hotel for being drunk. Now, I'm not going to read the whole article. I'll kind of scroll through. You can read it yourself. You can look it up yourself. This one's on the Daily Mail. So what? Yeah, he's 18. Things change. He also assaulted 2 police officers. Now, I know in the United States, if you assault 2 police officers, you will go to jail. I know someone that actually did, in fact, assault a police officer, and he spent quite a time in jail. I know things are different between the UK and the US, but I would expect to go to jail if I assaulted a police officer. But for some reason, Mr. Bonehill did not. Very strange. Very, very strange. Bonehill is also admittedly responsible for a hoax claiming that hopefully I'm pronouncing this right, a Leicester pub was, what is it? I want to get this exactly right. It said had banned British armed forces to avoid offending the immigrant population. Now, this was a hoax that he spread throughout his Daily Bale website, and he also admitted in this article here, it has a quote, I'm not sure exactly where it's at, but he admitted that he had created this hoax because he believed he was being trolled or being stalked by the owner of this pub or a person that worked there. So that gave them quite a hard time. They had threats thrown at the pub. Somebody threatened to firebomb the place. They had to bump up security and close for a couple days. Sounds like extremely English behavior to me, doesn't it to you? It just sounds exactly what I would expect an upstanding member of the white race to do. Somebody that's really got our intentions at heart. Now, this isn't the only hoax. There's this one as well. Missing Amy Hamilton poster circulating on social media revealed as a racist right-wing propaganda hoax. So you see the poster. Yet again from the Daily Bale, Joshua Bonehill's website, claiming that this girl was kidnapped or believed to be kidnapped by a Asian grooming gang. Ooh, I don't know why they don't call them Pakistanis. I don't know why he didn't just call them Pakistanis. He went with the PC term of saying Asian, when I think the last group that people think of when they think Asian is Pakistani. But he created this hoax, and you can look it up for yourself. Nothing too interesting, just a hoax. But he seems to believe that, at least publicly, this is his excuse, is that it raises awareness of actual pedophile grooming gangs that are going on today. So just make up anything you want relating to real stories, and that will help our cause. Just make up propaganda because we need people to become aware of the reality that's going on. Yeah, it makes total sense, doesn't it? Especially with the Rotherham event involving, they're saying now, close to 2,000 young girls. But no, don't talk about that. Create fake missing person posters so that when the average Britainer or anybody else who sees it and realizes that, hey, this poster is a hoax, they'll say, well, hey, maybe this event is a hoax. Maybe that event is another racist hoax. Yeah, it makes sense. It's really helping our cause, I can already tell. Now, the Daily Bale. This is Joshua Bonehill's website. And there he is. Look how serious he is. He's totally committed to the cause here. He's serious. He's going to sue the BBC, guys. Look at that. Look at that face. He's got your back. Now, I got to looking at his website and found that nearly every article that he prints or posts is fake. But not as fake as you would think. I'll start with this one. Let me zoom out a little bit here. It says an anti-racist activist from Ramsgate, UK has been convicted of kidnapping a newborn baby from an incubator. The baby was being kept in a Ramsgate General Hospital. So it says he stole a 2-day-old baby girl. Look at this. Look at this Jew. Yeah, Simon Lindelman. Yeah, hang him. You know? Yeah, terrible. Well, don't jump to conclusions here. We are on the Daily Bale. And never mind that there's 2 million people, 2.5 million people actually, that read this website. You know, they obviously are fooled. Because, guess what? Oh, there's our pedophile. His name is actually Michael Williams. And he may have had up to 1,000 victims he met on rounds through football or on Facebook. Has no links to a leftist group like Bonehill says, like Hope Not Hate. Maybe he was, I don't freaking know. But he was grooming children. You can read it for yourself. Pedophile postman jailed for abusing 500 children. I was trying to read the URL there. You can read it at The Guardian. This is pedophile postman jailed for grooming or abusing 500 children. So he took the real picture of this guy and attributed it to a Simon Lindelman of Hope Not Hate. Does this make any sense to anyone? Why take real stories about pedophilia and use the picture and change the name and claim he stole some baby out of an incubator? Which I believe was actually a true story that I saw out of England not too long ago, where a man actually did steal a 2-day-old baby. But that's kind of beside the point. This is a fake story. There's also this story. Left-wing sicko and pervert hid under bed of child. Jonathan Marks from Croydon, blah blah blah, all made up. I tried to search this image, I couldn't find it. I think his little B up here is blocking the images from coming up, but I searched the name. There's no such name that has committed any acts of pedophilia that I could find. Now look, oh, it's the missing Amy Hamilton poster again. Same poster. You want to know what that number is right there as well? That's the old number to an insurance company that used to operate in that area. And apparently had a really catchy jingle, but they have since stopped using that number. So this is a total joke, a total farce. And really, there's a lot more out there for you to find if you're willing to take the time to search about this guy. But so far, you know, what's the conclusion? What does any of this mean? Well, in my estimation, and this is my opinion, I know that people will disagree with me, but my opinion is I come up with one of 3 options towards Bonehill's motivation. What is the motive? Why is he doing this? Well, there's one of 3 options. 1, he's completely crazy. 2, he is just simply trolling and there's really no rhyme or reason or philosophy or any specific reason he's doing it other than just to piss people off. Or 3, which I lean towards at this point, he is actively working for some sort of operation. Now, many of you know in the UK that there has been a lot of talk about shutting down free speech. And I think people like Bonehill help serve that cause. Because when you have people online that are making up stories and falsely accusing people of being pedophiles, when there's plenty of real pedophiles that are running around, but he doesn't seem to care about the real pedophiles, just the ones that are in his own mind. When you have that type of situation, that gives your government reason to cut off free speech. The more of that you have, the more reason you give them. And there doesn't have to be many cases, just so long as the media blows it out of proportion. And if you think about it, let's say this Liberate Stanford event. Let's say there's 10 nationalists there, okay? And we'll say there's 100 Antifa. If the news media wanted to, they could cover that event and make it look like the Antifa were the small group. And they could make the Liberate Stanford organizers look like the larger group. We've seen this many times before, just like we saw in France with the all the leaders coming together in the street, and they had this big photo of them, from the sidewalk to sidewalk, completely filling the street. But the aerial view, or somebody up ahead or up top, took a video or picture showing that there was actually very few people in this crowd, even though if you were standing in front of it taking pictures, it looked quite large. So I believe that maybe that's what the Liberate Stanford event is about. Maybe they're trying to get certain nationalists identified or arrested. But I would say to those nationalists over there, if you are planning to attend this event, I would educate myself very heavily on the laws related to such protests, and would be extremely careful that this thing might actually be, in fact, a setup. You're more than welcome to disagree with me, but I stand by what I've presented here that is outside of speculating. I stand by the fact that Joshua Bonehill is in fact a liar, a creator and fabricator of many hoaxes that do not do anything to benefit anybody in our cause, and are in fact quite detrimental to our message. I'm going to end it with this. This is the question I would like you to ask yourself. Why did Garen Helm spend 2 weeks out of a 4-week sentence in jail and have to give Luciana Berger a £80 payoff for tweeting that she was a communist Jewess and that Hitler was right? Garen Helm was convicted of sending a grossly offensive anti-Semitic tweet. Joshua Bonehill was convicted of 6 counts of malicious communication and is still walking. He has plenty of priors. I'm not sure if Garen does as well. But how come it is illegal to call a Jew, but it is just fine, you get a slap on the wrist if you call someone that is not a pedophile a pedophile? That's all you have to ask. That is all. Thank you for watching.